ShowMeTheCurry.com. I'm Hital.
I'm Anuja, and today by popular demand, we're showing you how to make a very basic pizza dough.
So here's what you'll need.
1 cup all-purpose flour, 1/4 cup chapati flour, 1/4 cup fine suji or semolina powder, 1/2 teaspoon salt, 1/4 teaspoon garlic powder, 1/8 teaspoon black pepper or to taste, 3/4 cup warm water, 1 teaspoon yeast, 1/2 teaspoon sugar, 1/2 teaspoon olive oil, 4 to 5 tablespoons of all-purpose flour for kneading, approximately 1 tablespoon cornmeal.
So for a basic pizza dough, that's a multi-step process, so give yourself some time. If you want to have pizza for dinner, don't start making it like half hour before you want to eat this. So our first step is we have some warm water. We heated this up in the microwave for about 30 seconds, and we're going to mix our sugar and yeast into it.
Right. Sugar, yeast.
And we'll give that a quick stir and make sure the yeast dissolves completely in here. And once the yeast is dissolved completely, we're going to cover this.
So it's been about 5 to 10 minutes and our yeast is ready to use. You can see there's a layer of foam, and it's a perfect indication that we can carry on.
So for our next step, we're going to mix all the dry ingredients in a mixing bowl.
And here's the all-purpose flour, fine suji, chapati flour, garlic powder, black pepper, salt.
And we'll go ahead and mix this nicely so that all the flours are incorporated well. And then slowly we'll add our yeast and water mixture. Now this is a very sticky dough, and that's okay, so don't worry about that. Just mix it until it all comes together and forms a nice ball.
Yeah, it's a lot different from the chapati flour.
Right, exactly. So we have extra all-purpose flour on the side here, and what we're going to do is we're going to just sprinkle a little at a time, and we keep sprinkling the flour until it's very easy for us to form a ball. So just a little at a time. And keep rolling it in the dry flour. So we probably used about maybe a tablespoon or two of the flour so far. And once it comes together into a nice ball again, what we're going to do is we're going to drizzle some olive oil on top and make sure it's coated nicely so it doesn't form a skin while it's resting.
Olive oil, just a few drops.
And just make sure the entire dough is coated nicely on all sides.
Now that the dough is ready, we had actually preheated our oven to 180 degrees, and now we're going to turn it off. So it's basically warm. We're going to cover this dough and put it in the oven for an hour. So it's been an hour and we've got the pizza dough out of the oven. It's risen beautifully.
And we're going to just take a little bit of oil and just oil our fingers just slightly so that we can touch this dough, because it's still going to be very sticky, and just punch it down. See how it just deflates. And once you have it into a nice ball, one more time, cover, and we're going to put it back in the warm oven for about another hour.
So we're going to be using a pizza stone over here. It doesn't look very pretty right now, but that's what happens even after the first time we use it. And it's absolutely fine. It's still, it's still clean because the high heat of the oven, just burns off everything, and it just seasons it actually more than anything else.
Right.
And another very important thing about pizza stones is that if you wash it, make sure it's absolutely dry. Give it a couple of days, let it air dry and dry properly before you put it in the oven. Otherwise, the moment you put it in a hot oven, it's going to crack. So very, very important to take care of your pizza stone.
This pizza stone actually is a good investment because they're pretty inexpensive. You can probably get one for about $10 or so in the store, and it really gives you a nice crisp crust. But in case you don't have one, don't worry, your pizza is still going to be crisp. You can use a regular baking pan and it'll work just fine.
So it's been 1 hour more, and our dough is out of the oven and it looks fantastic.
Nice. So now again, this dough is still very, very soft. So what we're going to do is we have our extra dry flour. We're going to keep sprinkling it on there, and we're going to knead it and knead it and knead it. The key to this dough is that the more you knead it, the more glutens that form in the dough, and it'll give you a nice crispy and crunchy texture, and it's a step that you don't want to skip. So let's get to that.
Work hard at
Yeah.
that. So while that's going on, I'm going to turn on the oven at the highest temperature we have, and ours goes up to 550, so we're going to turn that on to 550. And what we've done is we have the pizza stone in there already, so it's going to stay there. We're going to heat the oven along with that so that everything, the temperature goes up together. And one more thing, we're going to keep the pizza stone rack right at the bottom of the oven. So the closest to the element you possibly can get, that's where we're going to keep it.
And keep sprinkling the flour on here. As soon as you feel it getting a little sticky, sprinkle some more flour and keep kneading. And we're going to keep kneading for at least about 4 to 5 minutes. Getting stronger here by the minute.
Yeah, I better be careful.
So our dough is nice and ready to work with. Now there's one little tip. If you want to make your pizza crust right now, it's a little soft and it takes a little practice to work with dough this soft. So a little tip is that you can coat this with oil, wrap it in some plastic wrap, and keep it in the fridge for a little while, maybe a half hour or so, until it firms up just a little bit, and it's a lot easier to roll that way. So we kept our dough in the fridge for a little while, and it's hardened up and easier to work with.
And the amount that we've shown makes approximately 2 medium-sized pizzas. So perfect for a family of 4.
So this is hardened up, but we're still going to need our dry flour so that this rolls out easier. And we'll just coat it a little bit, doesn't stick.
And start rolling. Get your chapati practice out, get it ready, and
You know, if you want to be really fancy, you can skip the rolling pin and do this with your hands.
oh
So
yeah,
that's always fun. Yeah.
flip it in the air and
Yeah.
catch it, and wow, there you go. We're gonna do that, but off camera.
Or you can do this also. This is another way to, if it's a little cold right now, so it's not going to move as much, but if you're working with regular dough, you can do that and make it bigger.
Yeah. So we're gonna make a thin crust pizza, right?
Mm-hmm.
Awesome, I like those. So while you're doing that, you're also rotating it so that it doesn't
Right.
stretch from one side and doesn't become oblong. But if you do want it that way, that'll be perfect.
Actually, the weight of the dough is what's, pulling it down and making it. So we're just waiting for our stone to get hot while we're doing this, and it's almost there. There's our oven.
All right. So that's ready. This is ready. And it's very, very hot, so please be very careful. And here we have the cornmeal, and we're just going to sprinkle it on this. So it gives a nice crust, and it makes the crust crispy. So just a sprinkle.
And also prevents your dough from sticking to the
Right.
stone. So here we go again. This is the fun part.
Very careful when you
One more
put it
time.
there, yeah.
And just kind of evenly put it in the center. Perfect.
And it goes back in the oven for about 4 to 5 minutes. Bottom line is we need to see a little color come to the dough and just a little golden brown.
Right.
So it's been 5 minutes. Our pizza base is ready.
So before we had put this in, I forgot to mention one thing, is we took a fork and just made little holes into the dough. If you don't do that, you're going to have a big balloon in there. So just poke it, and that way the crust will remain flat.
And now we're going to work on the toppings. Now, of course, over here you can have a field day. You can do whatever you want. There's no rules. Just your taste buds,
And imagination.
imagination, and what you have in the kitchen. So here we have some pizza sauce. And we have mozzarella cheese, again. No hard and fast rules, you can put what you want, but the mozzarella cheese has got the, the stringiness, which is
Which is
synonymous with pizza. Yes.
Exactly. Once that's done, anything under the sun. People like onions, people like olives, jalapeno peppers, so of
Mushrooms.
course, yeah, that's a great topping.
Or even like your pepperoni, chicken, bits of chicken, grilled chicken, or sausage, beef, shrimp, pineapples. What else was there?
Anything.
Yes.
Here's our favorite though. We have pickled jalapenos, desi style. You'll find the recipe for this on our website, but these are so yummy. Those on. Alright. And back into the oven it goes until the cheese is nice and melty, bubbly, and it has just a little bit of color on top.
Right. Looks great, and it's hot, so you want to let it rest for just a minute or so, and then come back with your pizza cutter and you cut it. So this is ready. Ready to cut?
Yes.
All right. Wow.
I don't know if you can hear that, but it's nice and crispy. So there are a lot of different kinds of crusts available. Some are bread-like, some are thin, some are thick, deep dish. But this one, it has a perfect combination of crispiness as well as a little bit of chewiness that a lot of the good pizza restaurants have.
So let's see. Wow. Perfect pizza test. Awesome. I love thin crust pizzas,
Yeah.
It's more about the topping and the stuff on top as opposed to the dough.
And it doesn't fill you up,
Perfect.
you don't feel
Yes.
like you've overeaten.
Yep. Awesome.
So try this recipe, let us know what you think, and join us again on another episode of ShowMeTheCurry.com.
Adding a pinch of spice to your life.